I have a guest on my show tonight, and the special guest is what you're seeing here. That the coolest in the building.
One love, people.
Yes, so that the cool.
Mhm.
Welcome back to my channel once again.
One love.
What do you have for us today?
A lot.
Do you know who is first?
Hey, I didn't
It's your
share.
dickiness.
Hey, Dickness is the first.
Yes.
Bless up, bless up, bless up.
Mama Taye is second, and Rita John is third, Jojo is fourth, and Mama Stella today fifth. I feel Queen sixth. Wow. So my people, here we have Daddy Cool in the building, who is here to give us five what?
Huh?
Five what?
5 reasons why we are disappointed.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm. Because disappointment actually
Monique, you have
affects.
touched the camera. You stop lifting up your hand.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
Disappointment
Yeah.
actually
You want to go to shop? Okay.
actually affects a whole lot of things.
Yes.
We go use ordinary and people should come.
No, it's done already. Ah. Okay, then I will do this. Come up. Yeah, stop. Ah, what a camera. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us once again. And today we have a quick one. It's a little bit late now, B. It's getting late gradually, but it's 9 o'clock. We hopefully 10:15 we should run it all over. Yeah. God bless you all for joining us once again. And it is my pleasure to be on Iyaki's show. Iyaki make it her show. Okay.
Yes.
This is Iyaki's show.
You're my special guest.
Well, greetings to everybody in the house. God bless you all for joining us. And please invite your friends, your loved ones, and your husband, your wife. Come and hear something. And this is for the intellectual heart, people with intelligent, people that wants to actually make the best out of themselves, people that wants to make a drastic change mentally, physically, and psychologically, so that you will be able to know when certain things takes place, you will definitely know how to now proportion your mind, your next attack, and your next move. And these things is what you will draw from the first disappointment you had. I hope you understand what I mean, yeah? But there are stages of disappointment in life, and that is very important for us to also discuss so that we can all understand exactly what goes on when things happened or what transpires when things does not go the way you are actually have envisaged them to go, or rather the way you plan them, the way you have them in your heart. And at the end of the day, it's not going to come out like that, and you will end up having to be disappointed. So based on that, it is good for us to understand. See, when I was studying this thing, trying to compare some other articles regarding this very one, deriving from all these very intellectual people, university lecturers, professors, and free thinkers whom I also follow them and I read the articles very well, and they have a whole lot to say. So reading their articles, you will definitely understand that these people are with an outstanding understanding about anthropology, that is study of mankind and man behavior and everything that has to do with mankind altogether. So I decided to jot down some few things so that we can also so that we can also, learn from all these things that are out there. Not every day we cause Ogun or cause Omila. No, sometimes we need to feed our souls so that if we really actually take all these things into consideration and begin to live by them, you will find out that you cause less Ogun, because you will have a very good understanding how things plays out in your own environment and with your own self. Actually, this topic of today is directed to you as an individual, to me, to Iyake, and to everybody who is listening right now. It is about me and you. It's not about nobody else. We are all involved in this. It's a collective responsibility, because every sane society, or rather any society with good understanding, with good mentality, with good psychological understanding, will definitely prosper. But a society where you find people with retrogressive characteristics, that society will never grow. So my own desire, or my own understanding.
Can you explain what is retrogressive so that people
Okay,
follow
sorry.
very, very well?
Sorry. Retrogressive is unprogressive society. If you are not, that is the opposite of progression, is retrogression. Meaning, instead of you moving forward, you are not even moving backward, nor even stagnant, just moving in a vicious cycle. The same thing all over and over again, all over and over again. That is not progress. That is rather static. You're not moving forward, but that's not going to be your portion if you actually dissect all these things within your heart and try to live by them. I tell you, you will find yourself living like a supernatural human being. Yeah, that's what I have seen. You will see yourself living like, you will live a step ahead of others, to be very honest. That when others are thinking chapter 1, you are already in chapter 5.
Wow.
That is what it is. But it all begins within yourself, and it begins on how you have trained your mind, how you have trained your psychological understanding, and how you have trained your mentality. This is what it's all about. Then, if this part of your life are well trained, you can't be gullible. You can't pick anything you are told for true. But you will end up being very meticulous. Meticulousness is somebody who is detailed in everything. You are very detailed. You want to make sure that before you leap, you look first. You don't jump first before you start looking. No, that time is no time again. You've already broken your bones, So based on that, I decided to fish out this very thing that will bless you and me this evening. Say, let's gist about it, okay? It is purely educational, yeah?
Why are people getting disappointed?
What is disappointment, and why are people getting disappointed? Now, disappointment simply means what you plan to achieve is not forthcoming. Very simple. I want to go to...
For your expectation, yeah.
Yes, I want to go to destination A, and I'm not able to get to destination A, then I got disappointed. Yeah? But something actually...
Can we also get disappointed on people?
Yes, of course.
Are very, very disappointed.
Just hold on. We have all of them. It's 5. So we will take them step by step. Yeah? So I hope you all just relax, get your popcorn, get your tea, and enjoy yourself, okay? So what is disappointment? Let's start by that. What is actually a disappointment? Very simple. I put it down here that disappointment results from thoughts and expectations being out with reality. Many people got disappointed because your expectations, either on individual person or in something you want to achieve or in the society, it could be on your husband or on your wife or on your children. Like Nigeria as a country is a big disappointment. So these thoughts of you trying to make sure that everything around you becomes so perfect and so excellent, and the expectations thereafter, which in most cases, they are not in touch with reality. That's the problem. We hope too much. We expect too much. We want everything too much. And when those too much is not forthcoming, then we got disappointed. So you find out that nobody actually disappoints you per se. Otherwise, we lay so much hope on people and things around us and situations that we hope to achieve, and it is out of reality. So when we keep our expectations within our reality and within the touch and within the distance we can reach out to, you will find out that you will record lesser disappointment in your own life. That is why most people would say you building skyscrapers in the air, or you thinking too phantasmagoria. What it means is you are simply putting things that are not realistic, things that are not you.
And for the right time, only me yak believe the phantasmagoria.
Phantasmagoria, that is unrealistic thoughts of achievement,
Phantasmagoria.
things that are unrealistic. Those are called phantasmagoria. You fantasize them and they are not forthcoming. Okay, now let's continue. Disappointment results from thoughts and expectations being out of line with reality. That is the very first stage of what you could understand by disappointment. That means your expectations, your willingness to achieve something in the real sense, it is not something you can do within your own power. It is out of reality of what your capability is, or rather within your capability. So you can't achieve them, then you will get disappointed. You begin to say, oh, or you have so much hope in me, Ambrose. You say, oh, I don't expect Daddy Cool to do this. Then I end up doing it. Then I get you heavily disappointed. And that disappointment that you got because of my behavior will break you down.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's sound back again. I hope there's sound, folks. Yeah. Somebody say no sound. I think there is now. Oh,
there is now.
Yeah.
Now.
Say something.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, yeah. Let me quickly repeat that
Before
again.
Let us promote this one. We'll do the normal.
I just don't want background sound, and this sound will not disturb any ear hearing. It's very clear.
Okay.
I think there should be sound by now, right? Yes, there is. Of course, there is now, I think. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Sorry about that. You catch on well, otherwise I will just carry on. Thank you very much. So
because they come the right time.
Okay. Sorry about that for the breakage of the sound. Okay, now they got the sound. So that the disappointment I got from the recent electoral petition tribunal judgment was the manner. So let's say the thing weak or something like that. I wouldn't know what went wrong. So based on this one, I was also disappointed, and that my disappointment took me at least few hours to actually get over it. To be honest, I have really not gotten over it. Yeah, I have really not gotten over it. I'm still very much struggling with that because I don't know whether I will ever get what I have expected. And what I expected is that a change should come. So things like that. But now, who really disappointed me when we want to take that very example? I disappointed myself because I was hoping on my own, not knowing the law enough and not knowing what the judges are going to deliver. So that is just by the way, yeah? Your expectations and hopes for others may be too high for the situation at hand. So when you are expecting so much of hope on other people, most especially, and they are not forthcoming, and what you hope for is not happening, then based on that, disappointment also can be ushered in. Even if you think your expectations are appropriate, realistic, they may not be realistic at all at the end of the day because it is your own personal judgment. You judge that situation that way, but you did not compare your judgment with the actual reality. If these things you have actually concluded in your mind, it is a realistic thing that it is achievable. Something, is it attainable? Is it something you really can have, or is it you are just still like this new world? You can just like, or are you just building a phantasmagoria about yourself or about anything you actually wanted? So based on these things, disappointment also can come. So you should understand that when you lower your expectation on anything at all, is it business? Always leave a space for an unforeseen contingencies, you could call that. That is unexpected happening that might happen, which you cannot tell. That is, if you know something about risk management, you will know that you will also have to create a space for your liquidity in case you go into liquidation. That is the expectation of you, what you want to achieve is not forthcoming and it's not working. Do you make a route for escape? That is why when some people are disappointed because they put their 100% on one particular thing, they would find it difficult to pick up their pieces almost immediately, or within a very long term, it would be very difficult to pick up their own pieces. Why? The expectation was just them too high and they didn't create any escape route for them also. They didn't create chance for unforeseen contingencies. They didn't create any space for in case of eventuality that things are not going to work out the way I have planned it now. Okay, let me create a route of escape, a route whereby you can say, okay, fine. That is why they say don't keep all your eggs in one basket. You understand? So keeping your eggs in one basket doesn't necessarily mean things that are physical. No. Most importantly, your thought is what is more important. The thought of your heart, what you know, your knowledge is very important because without that, your thought, you wouldn't be able to discover what you know or how you are able to react to any eventuality or any situation that might confront you at any given time. Okay. So that is that. Now, there are 5 stages of disappointment. So disappointment has stages in life and they impact our lives in all ramifications. Whether it is a disappointment that is very heavy and grievous or a disappointment that could be just mild, or rather something you could say, I will wave it with a wave of hand and I can deal with it. So I'm not touched anyway. But then, was it a disappointment? Absolutely, yes, it was a disappointment. But they don't come, they don't come in all ways. They come in different ways and in different forms. So let's just quickly talk about the few ways, which are just 5, which I chose to highlight, and let's quickly gist about that and educate our brain about that. Number 1, denial.
Okay.
Now, if I say denial, you will begin to say, no, this denial is not me denying you your right. No, that's not disappointment. I'm not denying you love. No, I'm not denying you likeness. I'm not denying you anything. But this simply means self-denial of the reality. That brings
It can also bring disappointment.
Absolutely, that is where the first disappointment is. According to experts and philosophers and highly intellectuals that I respect so much, which are university professors.
You are right, not facing reality.
Yes. Personal denial is the first disappointment you ever get. Now, what does that mean? Personal denial. Did you know what people say is about personal? They say shock. When you have a personal denial, meaning you are living in a shock of the reality which you don't want to accept. That's no good, man. Not good. Now, the self-denial is about yourself. Like I told you, I am not the one denying you anything. I am whom I am, just Ambrose. You are whom you are. For instance, Emily Amos or Ronald Jenny or hey, the unshakable mama. my
All of them, they
in-law.
greet you,
All of,
sis.
hey, yeah, sorry, una they greet me. Hallelujah, bow down to una good evening. So now I am not going to be the one denying you. That is not what the point says. The point, I specifically add shock or denial, because when you are shocked over an event, over a news you've heard, or over a change that might just take place, over a change of reality, then you stand out not to accept that very reality. You are living in self-denial, because whether you deny or you accept, neither will change the reality of the change that is ongoing, because you are one in a million. The rest of the 1001 are agreeing and accepting the change and following suit. So the metamorphosis going on, the metamorphosis going on is impacting everybody except you that refuse to follow that cycle of metamorphosis. You are not changing. Why? You remain stagnant. You are shocked that this change is going to take place, and you are living in self-denial. You refuse to understand one big fact, that while you deny the fact and the reality that is right now going on, you cannot change it. You are just an individual. They do say if you can't beat them, join them. If you understand what it means, that is, in case you cannot stay put living in your own personal self-denial, please let that very shock out of your life and join the suit of change of life. I give you a very big example. When social media came up, Facebook, and wait, let me go back to quickly talk about mobile phone. This one. Did you know there were some churches in Nigeria that preached against mobile phone?
Yes, even television.
Well, of course, that was a big one. I would just want to start with the recent one, because if I want to talk about television stuff, most people were not even yet born listening to me now. Only old men like us can actually relate to that. But then, people preached against the Bible. The telephone. People preach against reading digital Bible from the telephone. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I know one man of God that talks too much. When he said that, I said, oh my God, why, bro? You're making a blunder, because this thing you say will work against you in just less than 2 weeks. And it was so. Why? Most people refuse to believe that we are in the era of technology. We are in the era of intellectuality. The scripture even says it, that in the last days, God will pour out knowledge upon both young and old. What do you think that knowledge is? Is it the knowledge to speak rabba, rabba, rabba? No. Knowledge for mankind to develop this earth and live in a good place. Nuclear energy is not a bad thing, but mankind has the power to turn it to bad things. Nuclear energy is the best, cleanest energy human being can use to survive this very planet. But that same nuclear energy, you can create a weapon out of it to wipe off this planet within a month. A month is too much. Within few hours. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
But does that stop God from giving mankind knowledge for us to develop those things that could better our life? No. Okay, let's go back to self-denial. When Facebook came, everybody were creating pages, profile, put picture there. People preach against it. People war against it. But they forgot that times does not wait for your own little myopic understanding. The time is dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
The clock is ticking away.
Yeah.
Time is not waiting. Whether you accept it or not, whether you believe it or not, the evolution must take place. No matter how you worry, the night must come. Whether you worry throughout the whole night, the day must break. So, if you live in self-denial, you will be disappointed heavily. Why? What you are denying is not within your power to change. So, based on that, when you are trying to attempt to do that, then disappointment will be the only thing you might end up in. But you have heard people say something like this when they are shocked. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Haven't you heard people saying that?
Yes.
Or rather,
unbelievable.
this can't be happening.
No, you kidding me?
Not me.
No.
Oh, damn, not again. There are many exclamation marks you can make. Or you could say, boom, bokla, man. What? Things like that, man. You see, there are many exclamation marks you could make when there is a shock or denial. Or better said, self-denial. You refusing to acknowledge and accept the reality of the evolution where you live in. So in this social media, when people, you see, many people are very behind when it comes to social media because they struggle to accept the reality that this is the new trend that has come. And this trend that has come is a money-making trend, and it is a honey well. Many people they agree to that reality, either because they are not intelligent enough, or they are not educative enough, or they just refuse to lock themselves out of reality, whichever way. But the consequence is they are far behind. One way or the other, they are far behind. So denial is usually a temporary defense that gives us time to absorb news of change before moving on to other stages. You see, people struggle to actually agree to the news of reality. Did you know that? For instance, I am now the governor of Edo State, for instance, yeah? So people will find it difficult to accept, Daddy Cool of all person, the husband of Iyeki. No, it must not be. A re-election must happen. You are the only one making that noise of re-election.
Like I buy my own cash.
Same, okay.
That is like unbelievable
Yes.
Hey.
We bought this house cash and it is unbelievable, but it is not something that is unrealistic. It is real.
Really?
Anybody could have
But
done
they
it.
don't want to look
Anybody
at
can
it
do
in
it.
the real.
But because you are not agreeing to the news that is broken forth, you find it difficult to agree. It is only within yourself. It has nothing to do with anybody else. That is what we should understand when we are doing certain things. Why am I doing it? Why am I putting this strong resistance that I'm not willing to let go and accept reality and follow with the change and try to find my way and navigate my path within this very change that has come up? Why people are not thinking that way? Is it that they are so unlearned in their own mind to understand that when things like this happen, no matter how you sing about it, no matter how you drum about it, what is remain is. It will not change. It is still is. It will not change. You only say it. And even whoever you try to convince will not be able to help you to change reality. Don't you even think, assuming the person you're trying to convince, God the firsthand knew that what you are convincing him of is true. Then when the person bounces back to you, what happened? You will be disappointed because you refuse, or rather, you are so shocked with the news of reality and you are making a different campaign, living in denial, and you are getting a feedback of disappointment because it is not holding ground nor weight of any kind. And you will now have to spend more time to absorb the news that is already broken forth. Meanwhile, many other people in that society have already accepted that news and move on.
People are gathering their money now to buy cash.
It is now you are
still there saying,
it is now you are struggling to accept the reality. Then you will begin to move and try to accelerate. But who has gone ahead of you?
Who is that locked the front door?
It's already gone ahead of you. You can't meet that person. You don't blame anybody for it. It is your own personal thing that you have done. It is the initial stage of numbness and shock when you are disappointed out of denial because it is not something you can change. It is a reality that has come to stay. you agreeing with the news, believing in the news, or discard the news. The news has nothing to do with you in the first place. So why bothering or worrying yourself about the news in the first place? So it doesn't really make much sense when things like that eventually happen to mankind. Okay? And we don't want to believe that the change is happening. That is the problem. So most people are scared of anything called change. Let's say we have law now on this social media say nobody should mention my name. I will not mention your name. So let everybody come with a neutral topic. Did you know that's going to be a very difficult change
You want to keep them?
effect? Yeah, that would be a difficult change, because even if some people could have actually perfectly done that and they would be master of their game, but because of their mindset, they are not willing to accept that change. They will live in resistance. They will live in denial. They will live in defiance. They don't want to agree with that. But in the real sense, they could have even performed more fantastically well without talking about somebody else. They have a whole lot of story to have told. But they wouldn't because of self-denial, living in the shock. They can't absorb change. They can't accept change. They hate to change. If we keep it at a distance, then maybe it will go away. So what it means, if you keep that your resiliency, resistance, you are resisting change, try to keep that mindset away from you so that you can be able to see clearly and be able to make good use out of the new trend that there is. Because anything that confronts you here on earth or you come across is a blessing. Trust me. But if you are not, because the Bible, Jesus, when Jesus told us that the children of this world, that is the people that are sinners who are very clever and smart, are wiser than the children who think they are even believers. So wiseness and understanding and smartness is needed in this very instance. Do you understand? Self-denial. A bit like an ostrich sticking its head in the sand. Haven't you seen ostrich? Ostrich don't just want to do certain things. He will try to bury his head. But when you bring out your head, the reality still face you thereafter. Yeah? So don't live in self-denial, folks. Be very ready to absorb new changes that come your way. Who knows? If you accept it, you will find yourself being the one that will even benefit it much more. Because changes is not something you can fight against. Changes must be effected. So quickly be smart enough and follow suit and enjoy yourself out of that many changes that have just come to pass. Yeah? I hope we understand that, folks. Okay. So, another thing that got people disappointed so much is anger. You are angry. Very, very angry. Did you know when you are angry, you get disappointed most of the time?
How?
Exactly. Just like I mentioned denial just now until I explained, you wouldn't know that self-denial and denial can bring about disappointment. Yeah, you didn't know. But now I have just mentioned that anger also, because you are so angry, because don't worry. The first one is self-denial. You are denying the situation around you. You deny the change around you. But because what you are denying is not forthcoming, it's not remain denied by others, you get angry.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Yeah.
You get angry. Then you begin to ask some unrealistic question. Why me? As if everybody is against you. No, you are the one against yourself. You refuse to follow suit. You refuse to absorb the new change that the society is beginning to enjoy. You refuse to align yourself with the reality. You are not being realistic. You are just one out of a million, and you want yourself to superimpose your own idea over the whole community or over the whole thing that is going on. So based on that, if you cannot achieve it, it will result to anger. You will be so angry. Then you begin to blame everything around you. Why me? It's not fair. Nobody's listening to me. No, I can't accept this. Why must you change it? These are going to be the complaint. You are going to be complaining. But to be honest, you are becoming too selfish. You see what brings about anger? So when the self-denial thing is not forthcoming, it's not working, it will develop into anger. You are going to be very furious this time. You will be angry with yourself. You will be angry with the change that has come, and you will be angry with anybody else that have absorbed that change. You will begin to see everybody as your enemy or people that don't like you. That is why you begin to say, why me? It's not fair. Nobody likes me. No, nobody even have your time. You've eaten up yourself because of that very little thing you don't want to let go. And that is why you're getting yourself so much of torturing emotionally, psychologically, and in all your being, you burning out. Why? You are locked up. You don't want to accept the reality of the day. When we realize that the change is real and will affect us, or our denial usually turns to anger. Did you see? No, sometime we were making instances with Iyeki Cash House, right? If you say you will not accept it, you must not accept it. No, you must not. Let's not say that. You must not. Let's say you just don't want to believe it was a reality, yeah? And nobody wants to agree with you. It is not a reality because it is a reality. I wouldn't change the fact.
That is a reality.
I wouldn't change the fact because
You do not believe.
you don't want to believe. So that will keep you angry all the time. You cannot change my perception because it is true that the house is cash. It's a standard fact. So when you are arguing it,
I will keep repeating
I am
it.
not agreeing with you, it will result to anger. Don't you think so? You will be angry with me.
Yeah,
that I am not agreeing with you that what you are saying is true. But
Yes.
of course, you are lying. It is true that the house is cash. So now the problem is when that same person realizes that the change or the reality of the news is real, and that news, he has already built a very big image that if I accept that Iyeki bought that house, meaning I will be belittled too, or meaning I will not be seen as somebody that I've tried. But that is not what it's all about. You are the one thinking that way, and that is why you are getting tortured. So your heart needs some calibration. You need to calibrate your heart. Flush those things out and live a neutralistic lifestyle so that nothing will disturb your understanding. Because that is it. If it is not, if your denial is not forthcoming, it's not being agreed upon, nobody is supporting it, especially the person whom you want to recount is not recounting, because I don't think there's any human being that will want to recount reality. No, it is a reality. I will not recount it because it is true.
It is true.
You understand? So when things like this are not forthcoming, so that same person who refuses to adapt will get angry because the disappointment is still within the line of what is wrong with that person. Your expectation is not being met. Now we get angry and took to blame someone or something else for making this happen to us. Did you know we always do that? We are the one that is not letting certain things go, or rather accepting the reality and the fact of the day and the situation of things as they are. Still, we are the one that will turn around and looking for somebody to blame for that same thing. Because we are still not letting go yet, or rather we are still locked up, we are not accepting the reality, we are not accepting the fact that this is what it is, and it is what it is. It's not something you can change. What's interesting is that our anger can be directed in many directions, in many different directions. That somebody that is angry of A can eventually start quarreling with something of Z, or B, or G, or R. You begin to wonder, but you have headache, right? That is what we understood. But what about this leg pain you are complaining about? See, when anger is there and you live in self-denial, a whole lot of frustration will come in there that you will simply not behave normal. That is why you see some people start by telling one story, they will jump and cross over several stories. At the end of the day, the listener will get confused. Why? That story is coming from a distrust heart that is not okay, heart that is not thinking right. Why? There is denial and there is much anger in that heart. So nothing good can come up. So anything can go in any direction. In any way, anybody can be accused. Anything can be accused. Anything can be said. You understand? So that is that. I have seen people carry angry with the boss. Haven't you see people? Maybe you wake up and you are angry with your own boss. Possibly they have made any changes with the working schedule and you just don't like it for some reason or you refuse to accept it. And since everybody else accepts and you are the one that is not accepting it, you will feel, oh, they don't like me. That is why they all quickly accept without consulting me. But who are you? You are nobody. You're simply making yourself very relevant because you live in such a situation that you are somebody who lives in self-denial that is now resulting to anger. Number 3. I hope you guys are enjoying the story so far.
Yes.
Okay. I hope you are enjoying the story so far so that it do not look too boring. Yeah. The third one that brings about disappointment in life is bargaining negotiation. You know, pricing. You are pricing your situation. How much be this situation? 10 naira. No, I will pay 9 naira.
Yeah.
If you come back again, no, price don't change. It's not 20 naira. Okay, maybe you don't understand yet. Yeah. When you are bargaining your situation, meaning you have not made up your mind.
Right.
You understand?
Okay.
You are procrastinating things you are supposed to settle today. You defer them to tomorrow. Something you are supposed to take care of right now, you say, well, you know what? You are beginning to make, transactional discussion with yourself. Yeah, you are transacting an action that should be taking place today. You are making a transactional discussion by bargaining with the decision. It is all within you. It's not like you're talking to somebody else. No, it's just with you, talking about yourself, talking with your heart. You know, like, now you have not accepted the situation that is going on. You live in self-denial, which brought about anger. Now you are trying to get out of that anger. Instead of you to face reality, you are rather, you plunge yourself into transactional discussion with your situation or with the situation at hand. Situation that is not for sale, you are placing it in the stock market to trade that situation. Nobody's going to buy it from you. No. Nobody is going to buy it from you. Though bargaining is usually a natural reaction, of those who are dying. Now, let's put it this way. Haven't you seen so many old men, or rather people of age? They will usually tell you, now that I'm old, very soon I will do this, I will do that. Old men can say that because they are waiting for their time. Yeah, if God willing, I will do that. If God willing, I will do this. If God willing, you are procrastinating everything. That is why they compare that to those dying can procrastinate. It's not a big deal. Okay. But you that still have life in you, procrastination shouldn't be on your list. Okay. As it approach your domain, deal with it. Right straight up. Okay. Look at the situation, eyeball to eyeball, and approach it. You will not die. No. But when you begin to transact with that situation, you begin to bargain with the situation. When I begin exchange price, come on 5 naira for the problem now. No, this problem don't be very expensive. In fact, last week, somebody bought this problem 10 naira. You are here and I say, make I give you reduction of 5 naira. You still talk. That kind of a thing. So you are bargaining with your situation. It's an attempt to postpone what is inevitable. Not everything is evictable. Evictable is something you can do without, something you can change. Such as death is inevitable. So you cannot actually defer death because it's not within your power, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. So, but birth is actually evictable. You can get pregnant and terminate the pregnancy. That birth will not happen. So you can see what we are talking about. But when you check those things that are inevitable, things that must be done, things that
Evitable and
inevitable.
inevitable.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's two things. Evictable
Evitable
are things that you can
can
easily change, evicted. It doesn't matter whether you have it or not. It will really not have much impact on your daily dealings or what you want to do. But there are things that are inevitable. They are not within your power at all. In fact, it is not within the power of mankind. Such as if rain is going to fall throughout tomorrow, it is an inevitable happening. It's not something you can stop. It will fall and match you black and blue. You understand? Things like that. So, like people will say, what will be. But in this case, it's not entirely what will be, but it is your own personal decision that needed to be taken drastically. You have to be resilient by saying, I will not live in this self-denial. Why? Self-denial will make you a retrogressive person that will not prosper, person that will not progress. Rather, you will sit down there and be arguing with the blessings and the progress of other people. Haven't you seen that around us? We've seen it. Why? You are simply living in a very locked up box by yourself, not willing to accept the situation, not willing to accept the reality as it confronts us day in, day out. So the things that are inevitable must be confronted with all resiliency. You don't give a chance, you don't let it go, you strongly stand on it and say, well, let it be a do or die affair. Because if I leave it to tomorrow, the death will come anyway. So let's do it now so that we can confront the situation as it is. Yeah? We often see the same sort of behavior happening when people are facing change. When people are facing changes in life which they don't want to accept, because they don't want to accept that change, they may end up trying to negotiate with the changes that is happening so that they will, on their own thought and mind, they will fall on the sofa floor, on the sofa carpet. It is a wrong time to negotiate because when we talk about change, it is a universal thing that takes place. It will happen in your own community and it will happen in a larger community. It is not something you change. You have to follow. Let me tell you something, okay? Many, many years back, when education was creeping into Africa, did you know that our people believed those days, those that were not really like strong enough to farm were the ones that were sent to school? Those that could farm and hunt were well respected because they didn't know the new change that has come. They are not aware of the new changes that has come. So based on that, they still have some discretion, not letting everybody have the same free access to education. And purely women was absolutely excluded. Why? They have their own myopic understanding. No, I don't want anybody to touch my girl child. So for that, I'm keeping. Then after some time, they say, no matter how women are educated, they end up in the kitchen. Wow. See, those things were old stuff. Did you know some people live by that narratives today that women still seems not to be fully respected as they should? Because I do hear some men talk about women in a very derogative manner, that women should do this, women should do that, women should do this, woman should do that. Woman. I will begin to look, really, which book did you read all these things from? It is just an old, myopic and primitive idea that we had lived with when we were living the primitive life. But change has come. The new reality we are facing right now, that man or woman will have equal right to access every freedom that God has given to mankind. But did you know so many men, even including women, are finding it difficult to face the reality that women could have equal right to pick up any profession that any man also can do. That is why we have in our own culture, anything a man can do, woman can do it. It's a very derogatory statement. I hate that statement. That statement shows how much we have actually discriminate women. How much women have been so massively discriminated and sidelined. Because otherwise, why will you be coming up? Yeah, man can drive, woman can drive. Really? Driving? That is not your effort? You press the throttle and it goes. What effort is there? You think women are not intelligent enough to put on JAR 1, JAR 2, JAR 3, JAR 4, and 5? They can.
Of course.
You understand? So things like that. That is why when I see women doing mechanic in Nigeria, you see everybody hailing, but okay, it's good. It's a new trend. Come to Europe. You see women lying down under the motor fixing your exhaust pipe. Yeah, women do all those things. So these are what we call changes, and these are what we call reality. And when people refuse, this illustration I'm making could be in every facet of life, in all ramifications I'm trying to explain, okay? I'm only citing some few instances here and there, okay? We start bargaining in order to put up the change or find a way out of the situation. You see, the things we don't want to accept, we are trying to look for a way to escape it because we don't want to accept it. People don't want to accept reality or the truth. They will try to find a different narrative to counter the reality of the truth. By so doing, they will be lying, they will be fooling themselves, and the lies and the fooling of themselves will easily come back to them. So what do you think will happen to them? They will get more angry because nothing is forthcoming. Their bargaining is not working. Self-denial is not working. Even the anger is burning them up. Did you know what that leads to? That leads to depression. That is the number 4. Depression. Now, when you say somebody is depressed, depression is in a different stages. There are some acute depression. That is, that person is a step away from being a lunatic. You see the stages where it is actually coming from. That when you see somebody finally lose it, Gabadea, that is kota, meaning he has passed through these stages. First, he lives in that lifestyle of a denier. He doesn't want to accept anything. Did you know if you are not accepting anything, that also gives you pride? You have so much pride. You don't want to bend down or bow down to anything else, whether real or not. You look at your chest, you look at what you want to do. That nobody else is agreeing with you, you get angry about everything. Did you know when you are angry about everything and yourself, you will disassociate yourself from people? What have you done? What have you done? You have isolated yourself from people. Nobody is isolating you. Nobody hates you. But you have a little thing within you that is denying you the good life that every other person is living. Do you understand where it all starts from? So that you just don't see somebody tomorrow misbehaving or going gaga. You think, oh, no. It starts from somewhere. He refused to face the reality. And that brings about the anger that eat him up from the inside. Then in an attempt trying to find a landing spot, he started negotiating with the situation, bargaining, making the situation transactional. Nobody will buy it from you. Because people are not buying it, depression will be ushered in. That is the number 4. Then you will begin to hear statements like this. I am so sad. Why bother with anything after all? I don't care. That's when you begin to say, I don't need anybody. Shut up! You need somebody. Shut up, blood clot, oh boy. You need people. But see, needing people is in 2 ways. I can tell you, I don't need any of you to succeed. It is true. But I also can tell you, I need all of you for me to succeed. Depends on what I'm busy doing. I can't be doing my educational and my academic exams. I don't need you for me to pass. It is all within my own self. Read, study, try to understand what you've read and get your mind straight. Go to the exam hall. Don't be distracted. Write your paper and come out of the exam hall. Keep your finger crossed. Oh, I passed. No. You are happy, right? Fine. That is not something you can do for me. That is solely within my own power. But by the time I need a vote. People should vote for me to become a president. Yes, ma'am. Nice president. Then I need you. I need all of you for me to succeed. Do you see what it is?
Yeah.
So when saying things and when doing things, try as much as possible to well proportion what you are saying and what you are doing for yourself, and most importantly to any man that will listen to you or any woman that will listen to you, because people listening to me right now may have been more educated than me. I don't know you. Many of you may be professors looking at me. Many of you also have master's degrees. Many of you are BSc holders. Many of you are very intelligent, even far better than me and more than me. So why do you now think, me knowing fully well that I am going to confront people like that, then I will come here to fool myself? It's not done. Why? You have it in mind that people you're going to speak with are people of high intellectual. So that self-denial, drop it. If you drop it, you will not have anger. Then you have nothing to negotiate with. Then you won't be depressed at all. When we realize that bargaining is not going to work, reality of change sets in. At this point, we become aware of the losses associated with the change. You know, anybody that refuses to accept the new change that has come or the reality of things around always fears something to lose. Did you know that? That person have set up something. If I accept this, this is what I am going to lose. But in reality, if you accept it, you will not lose that thing. It might just be the thing you will gain, in case you don't know. But because that very rigidness is still within you, depression will obviously come in, because at this point that that person is not depressed, it is so obvious that there is no way out. Then you finally give up, yet you have not even still accept the change of the day. What you then think about is, why should I bother myself? Must everybody buy house cash? Must I ride Range Rover? Must I even drive at all? Wait to do my leg. But all your shoes don't file well for trekking. You could have bought a car if you know how to think well and accept the reality and change and make a change and plan towards it. No, you keep living in self-denial because you don't want to either appreciate who have done it or congratulate who have done it or even accept somebody else is even capable of achieving it. It is you that live in self-denial, not me, not those who are saying congratulations. But to be honest, you are the people behaving like that are the one losing. Why? The truthfulness of the change, they will not know it yet. Because how will you know it when you have not even accepted it? You have not acknowledged it. Anger is ushered in, and when you are angry, you can't think right. Everything is upside down. All you think about is kill, destroy, scatter, make it not happen, whatever. And if you see you can, then you begin to bargain or looking for people that will help you substantiate your denial. And if that is not forthcoming, then you are depressed. That is what brought about depression in the life of people. That when they have tried to live in their self-denial, anger comes in, bargaining, then depression will definitely be what will come in, definitely. The depression stage is often noticeable in other ways. In every area or anywhere we meet together, depression can be noticed. If you are smart and intelligent, the person doesn't necessarily need to look very haggard. The person still can dress very fine and look good. But one thing that person cannot fake is the words of their mouth. It will not correspond. It will be too myopic. It will be too... See, what they do or say is to preach that their denial and anger to you or to whoever they are telling. And if they can't convince them, they go ahead and start bargaining. All this as exacerbation of depression. Yeah, People dealing with change at work, even where you work. It could be social media, it could be your normal working place. Yeah. People dealing with change at work may reach a point of feeling demotivated and uncertain about their future. Let me tell you, did you now I was seeing so many people frequent on live video many years back. Possibly they got demotivated and they back out. I don't feel for Facebook. Facebook, how much did they get for their Facebook? I don't feel that to the cost. Facebook, why? You got the reality of Facebook and social media wrong. You follow it wrong. The actual reality is what you did not accept. So based on that, it will come to, hey, Abi, I don't need them self. It is not important. Things like that. My experience is that there is an increase in absenteeism. See, when somebody is at the end of the day end up being depressed, even at work, that person will find excuse. Sir, I just want to, call. I can come today. I'm having headache. I didn't sleep well last night, and my eye is turning me. But nothing is wrong with that person. There is just no motivation to go to work. After making that call, that person may still end up almost immediately. Oh shit! Why didn't I even just go to work? Now what am I going to be doing?
Yet staying at home, you still do not have motivation to do nothing.
Exactly. So staying out, you don't even have the motivation to sleep. You don't have motivation to just stay cool. Neither do you have motivation to go to work. You see how it can burn one up? So when that kind of depression comes in, it is so frustrating. It will make one goes gaga. That is when you find people doing very awkward things. Very awkward at things that is not expected of them. Then in the midst of this depression, 80% of the people who have sense very well will come to the terms of acceptance, but it is very late most of the time. And that acceptance is also a disappointment for the person that was denial, become angry, trying to negotiate, come into depression. Now you have no choice other than to accept the reality. Bam! This time you are going to accept that reality with so much disappointment. How? I will explain to you. But the very first statement that goes with such decision is, it's going to be okay after all. After all, people will rough the drum before they never die. You are trying to console yourself now. Gradually try to accept the reality you have been struggling with. You know, this struggle we talk about, it is not a day job. It is not a week. It can last a year, 2 years, 3 years before you will struggle and struggle and struggle and finally come to accepting the reality. Is it not too late like that? Because everybody that have accepted the reality are far ahead of you. It is now you struggle to come to acceptance.
And when you now also see that people are fast ahead,
you're disappointed. You see, the foundation from beginning is already wrong. And based on that, your acceptance now, which is the last of all the options you have in the area of disappointment, is, since I can't fight it, let me join them. That is a statement of a failure. You fail in your tendency. Something you could have just easily accept and follow suit and do it and follow the change and become dynamic in your way of doing things and forge ahead. No, you chose to be static, stagnant, staying in one place or rather moving in a vicious cycle because you deny yourself the reality, and that got you angry when you don't get any support based on that, because not everybody wants to support stupidity. Then you begin to negotiate with yourself, try to see how you can maybe come out. Let's sweep everything under the carpet, No, you can't sweep things under the carpet. They are there under the carpet. When you pass through that carpet, you match them and they remind you. It's not good. So the acceptance, I can't find it. I may as well prepare for it. Anyway, anything we want to happen, make it happen and go prepare for it. No, you could have said this a few years back. By now, you will be enjoying the cruise of the reality. But you didn't do that. You spent so much time arguing with reality, arguing with situation that you cannot change, arguing with situation that is inevitable. You defer them, you postpone them.
Like some people that argue and struggle with Vela until 1 year plus.
Until same thing like that. Now
At the
that
end, look at
now
the
that
result.
Vela is a reality, do you think they will just be okay? No,
No.
they are seriously depressed
Yes.
about that very particular thing. Why? They wish it never come to pass. Now their wishes got disappointed.
Good.
Do you think they themselves will not be disappointed? No,
Yeah.
because their wish is them. They are their own wish, if you understand. So it is not only just for Vela, it is every ramification in all facets of life. Wherever you turn to, this is how it happened, and this is how it plays out. So it is good for us to understand so that you don't just get yourself into this situation. Do you know it is easy for you to resist and say, no, I don't go believe, no, I won't agree, no, this. If you let that I don't go sink into your head, you will be very surprised that it will take you several months for you to free yourself from that situation. But I must tell you, you will pass through all these 5 stages before you can get out. First, you deny. Then you are angry because nobody is agreeing with you, because what you deny is not forthcoming. It is not a reality. You will just be angry. You try to come with things, trying to find a narrative to bring about kind of, okay, let's leave it at this. It is still not working. Then you go into depression. It will still not work. Then you come to, okay, let us accept the reality as it is. So accepting reality after struggling with all these things, it is
Become
the
too late.
biggest of the whole disappointment. Because the things you are believing now, accepting now, struggling to do now, struggling to acquire now, it is something you could have done very easy in time past. Now you have made it a very heavy load upon your heart. You make it a very burden to roll off. And while holding on to this your bargain, you have argued. You have beaten your chest to other people. You have said a whole lot of boastful words of other people that even if you want to accept it, all those your boasting will still deter you from accepting it. Why? Yes, I have said this to this guy. What would they think about me?
Exactly.
It will come to your mind. It is psychological, proven. It is studied. According to study, this is how it all deals with people, because it all begins with yourself. It is your fault, so to say. You called for it. If you had not called for it, it will not happen to you. 2 things you could do. Either you live in denial or you live in neutrality. Don't let the situation bother you. Don't give attention to the situation. It will not bug you. But since you buy the market and you are not even seeing who will buy the market from you, don't you know it will become a very big stock you have within yourself that is it is worthless. It is not disposable.
You can't dispose it like that.
You can't sell it. It is not a commodity anybody wants. You are the only one that love that commodity and you have it in your possession. It is not good. Don't do that. It is not a happy space trying to accept what you have lived upon as a self-denial, and which make you so angry, and you try to bargain about it, negotiate about it, still it didn't work until you got depressed about it. So now trying to accept it, it is never going to be a yours truly journey. It is never going to be a palatable decision to make. It will be a decision that has that. In fact, this acceptance is the biggest stage of them all that will actually break any individual down. Why? You will first of all start from the day you started denying that reality.
You start regretting.
You will regret the reality.
You can't return it.
No. You will regret the anger on it. Possibly when you were angry, you made so much enemies. And you told so much lies while you were angry.
And when you were bargaining, you spent so much money.
Yeah.
To make sure that
when you
turn it to reality.
Yeah, when you were bargaining, you spend so much effort, so much resources, you exert your energy so much, convincing people of your own denial, telling more story to make your denial a reality. But all still come to no avail. All come to naught. They become futile, no single good result. And that eventually brought about the depression. Now, when you are at the stage of accepting that same thing you have denied, you have been angry of, you were bargaining about, that brought about depression, then acceptance, it is never going to be yours truly journey. Difficult, frustrating. That is why you say here. Well, the one I was saying, like Monica used to make one parable who say, who don't get money to buy beer, and I say beer they bitter. You understand? If you can actually not buy stout, Guinness, yeah, you say, Guinness, Vaya is too bitter. But if somebody buys for you, in fact, you can drink about 5 or 6 bottles. Abi, yeah, you can just soak them. No, you go just drink them because
although it's not for people where they drink.
Yeah.
Not be people like me. If you like,
no, I mean,
get money to buy, not still sweet me.
Did you know people that knows that drinks are the one to make that
statement? Yes.
Not you that doesn't drink, because they are the one to come close to where they are selling drink and start to castigate.
Yes.
Una just they drink anyhow. Wait till they stupid beer where they bitter. Give her one bottle. While before you bring open it, he has used his mouth to open it. One sip like this, the bottle. Yeah, one sip like this, the bottle is already half. Then immediately the person will change story. You begin to wonder, will not be this guy talk just now say beer the bitter? Yes, it was bitter because it was unaffordable. Now that it is available, though it is not me that afford it, then beer is as good as honey. Guinness the sweet. And honey the sweet. In fact, they put sugar for this one. Mouth will change. So the it is not a happy space, but rather a resigned attitude towards the change. See, when somebody is beginning to make an acceptance of the reality, it is simply that you have resigned from the reality that you have failed in your denial and your resistance to change. Then you begin now to like, not be only myself, even Iyeki self not fit do one. So we plenty. No, Iyeki never get them when you also deny yourself of it. So using Iyeki now as a yardstick for you to find terms within yourself is a case of you realizing that you have failed and you are now retrogressive in your things that you have been doing all along, or rather your self-denial, and now you are gradually coming to terms with the reality because you have no choice. You must come to terms of reality. Reality will not come to your own terms. So we need to be open, be neutral before you can really enjoy so many things of life. Because when you check the illness of so many people mentally and psychologically, it all depends on what their brain have been incubating, what they have stored in their brain. That is what eventually metamorphosed into any action that we are seeing. I hope you understand that, yeah? So for the first time, people might start considering their options. You that lock up yourself, looking at every option of acceptance all along, because when you live in self-denial, you have no option. You did not set any option for yourself. You were so rigid about your denial. That is what you hold on to. But by the time you come to a stage of brokenness, you will be broken. You have no choice. You must come to terms of reality. Then you will begin to try to consider, what are the other options available in case I accept this? Will Mr. A see me as a double-faced person? Or will Mr. B think I boast too much? Or Mr. B will think I am a coward because yesterday I boasted I'm not going to take it, but today, I will take a moon because the reality is very strong. Things like that. So you are still having a struggle moment with yourself. Because a lot of things will come to your mind almost immediately. The past, everything you have done, why you refuse to accept some certain situation, they will be disturbing your own understanding. I think it's a bit like a train heading into a tunnel. So these are the whole things. You say, I don't know. Anyway, let's try. Let's see how it will be. Hopefully, there's going to be bright light at the end of the tunnel. Anyway, let's, things like that. You are no longer very resilient and steadfast, same way you were very, strong when you were living in self-denial. This can be creative space as it forces people to explore and look for new possibilities. See, changes. Accepting changes is good, but the acceptance should not come as the last option from your first denial option. If it comes like that, you will struggle with a whole lot of things. But if a new change is being ushered into the society, and your acceptance is lent out to that new changes, you will not have to, first of all, struggle with self-denial, anger, bargaining, depression, or struggle with the acceptance. No, you will easily receive the acceptance and be able to find your way within that new change with a clear heart, with a heart of neutrality. You have no baggage you have built up for yourself. You have nobody to consider before you can forge ahead. No, everything is still within your own power to carry out and do. People tell me that they learn lots about themselves when they are passing through changes. You learn a lot. Even in this instance that you first of all live in denial, you live in anger, you come to bargaining about your situation, then you got depressed at the end of the day. Then if you are not accepting a lot of things, you will still learn a lot. During the time of self-denial, you have encountered situations that you will learn from. While you were angry, you encounter situations, you will still learn from it. And while trying to negotiate the situation, you will still learn. Even in the place of your depression, you will not forget how much depressed you were until you try to wake up now, gradually start to try to accept the reality. Yeah? So, I will always say knowledge is power. That is why, instead of you to lock up yourself, instead of you to live in self-denial, you need to let yourself out of that little box and soar high and function in the horizon. Not where everybody congregates. You should always pitch your tent all the time. Look left, right, center, up and down. Be vigilant. Be smart. Be knowledgeable and be intelligent. It is very important. If not, you may not be able to get some certain things done. You understand? We do say, or rather, the Bible says, knowledge is profitable to direct. And I added, of course, when you read everything, wisdom is profitable to direct. But when you read everything, you find out that it was actually talking about knowledge in the biggest part. Now, knowledge is what your wisdom is built upon. You can't be wise without you knowing nothing. You can't be wise without you knowing nothing. You must know something before you can apply your wisdom. So in other words, your wisdom is the engine that should drive the root of your knowledge. Any vehicle that is just pretty without engine inside cannot move, right? No. Except if you tie rope, you the drag and they go. If you move, if that's what you want. But that is not the function of a vehicle, right? Yeah. The function is you step in, you start it, and you move up, right? So knowledge is your root in life. You understand? But wisdom is the one that will profit you to direct you in the route of your knowledge. Whether you will then move at 70 miles per hour or you will move 50 miles per hour or you move 30 miles per hour accordingly. Wisdom will direct that. But knowledge will keep focus on where you are going. So if you get these things in place, folks, you will be a superman and a superwoman. You will simply do things that people will not understand. Rather, they will be thinking otherwise. It's very normal that people don't understand how you operate and your capability and what you are capable of doing and pulling up. Then they can come up with any narratives just for them to satisfy their own confusion, because they're simply confused about you. They don't know how you operate and what your capability are and what you know, what your wisdom is and what your knowledge is and what you have acquired. So when you do certain things, like, they will begin to look, no, it's not possible. No, it's not. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. So that is why sometimes I like to come up with this kind of short. Okay, this is not even short again. It's 1 hour, 20 minutes I'll be talking. So it's no longer short, right? So, folks, let's bring it to an end here so that it will not be too long. So these are the things we should keep in mind whenever we are getting into a new facet of life, a new phase of life. Changes happens every day, every minute of the day. It could be at home, it could be at work, on the road, anywhere else or wherever you belong to. Changes comes every day by day. Every day by day, changes comes. Okay? So when changes come, see, you must not accept changes. That is not what it's all about. You must not accept, and you also must not deny. If you don't want to accept, please don't deny. Because if you do not accept changes in neutrality, it will not impact you. It will not disturb you. You will not struggle with it. Because it's like an issue of garbage in and garbage out. It comes in and it goes. It does not bug you, it does not disturb you that much. But by the... What was that? Okay, sorry, I thought I was hearing an alarm. So, by the time you now try as much as possible to dispute the reality and the change, that is when you are kicking against reality, and reality will definitely find a place to pay back. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to end the show from here. And I did hope you all understand and you are blessed tonight with this very stuff we've talked about. Yeah. And the next teaching I have already prepared, we have, is 5 ways to bounce back from a setback.
Wow.
So,
Interesting.
yeah, 5 ways what you can do in case you may have been experiencing a setback, relationship setback, business setback, financial setback, any setback you can think about, family union setback, whichever way. 5 principles, ways you should consider how to bounce back to your feet or to regain the setback you may have experienced. Yeah, 5 ways. So we'll discuss that as God willing. Now I'm afraid I'm very careful not to promise that I'm going to come tomorrow, because Madam might occupy the space and I'm busy doing something else. But I hope it would have been very lovely that I will be able to do this tomorrow, so that by the time you combine this and the other one together, it will be very fresh in your memory. And that will help a great deal for you making decisions and getting things done as your heart wishes. Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the topic. I hope you enjoyed. God bless you all. Thank you very much. So, Iyeki?
Was nice.
Was nice?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Even
And
I enjoyed
you enjoyed it, yeah? And I hope you all enjoyed this very topic. So let's close it with a word of prayers before we can go, yeah?
Yeah.
Shall we pray? Father, eternal King of glory, we thank you for this wonderful time that we had together to gist and educate ourselves and admonish ourselves, oh God. Father, Lord, let this word sink into our heart and help us to be a better person, oh God. that we will not dwell in anger or self-denial or be frustrated and confused in depression regarding things that we struggle with, O Lord. Father, grant us the heart of liberality, O God, that we will be liberal enough, O King of Glory, a large heart to accommodate and to work on any issues, O King of Glory, and be able to come out with the best understanding, O Lord, that our life will please you day in, day out. And in the name of your Son, Yeshua HaMashiach, I pray.
Amen.
May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord cause his face to shine upon you. And may the Lord lift up his countenance upon you.
Amen.
And give you peace all the days of your life.
Amen.
And I would say, Shalom.
Good night, lovely people.
Salam
I see you
alaikum.
all tomorrow morning.
Thank you.